Hello, my name is Edie. Welcome. We will be moving through a restorative practice that is intended to support just calming your body, support relaxation, and really being fully supported, so little to no effort for your body. For the practice, you can get really creative with props. You don't have to have specific yoga props. So I have two blocks here. You could use blocks, you could use books stacked on top of one another. I also have 3 blankets, 2 that are the same size, a little bit smaller, and then 1 that is bigger and thicker. Use whatever you have at home. If you have multiple blankets as well, you could just stack up to get a little bit bigger, thicker one. And then last but not least, I have a bolster, which is just a fancy pillow. So you could grab multiple pillows at your house. If you have a memory foam or a thicker one, those can be great because they kind of provide a little bit more support like a bolster would. So again, get creative with props. This really is, to some degree, a restorative how-to. So I'm going to get you in a few postures. We're not going to hold them necessarily as long as you could or you typically would. However, I'm going to get you set up into it, and then for yourself, you can feel free to move through the time that I allot for it. You can also just kind of learn how to get into the props and then set them up on your own. I really encourage you to kind of set the mood in the space, like candles, move into a space that you feel like you can fully relax. In addition to adding the sort of music you would like, really make the practice your own. So with that being said here, I'm gonna go ahead and set up prop-wise our first posture. So this first posture we're gonna need here, the bolster. You'll need a wall. So what you'll do with the bolster here is set the bolster up, I would say a decent amount away from the wall. I would say about 4 to 5 inches or so. And the reason being you would set the bolster away from the wall is it'll be a little bit less demanding on your hamstrings. However, if you would like to bring the bolster tight to the wall, you're welcome to do so. Again, we're gonna kind of really aim for relaxation for this practice, and so I'm gonna encourage you to set the bolster a bit away from the wall. You will also need here one of your blankets, and you can place that kind of right next to your bolster. And then you may or may not need your 2 blocks, so I'm gonna actually have you set them on the other side of your bolster that your blanket is not. And then last blanket, you're just gonna need one of the blankets. You can either do the bigger one, the thicker one, or the similar to the one that's next to your bolster. So you'll just need to unfold that once till it looks about so, or fold it till it's looking to some degree like this. And then you'll just place that down and then start to roll it. So this roll is gonna be support for your neck. And then what you're gonna do once you roll it is you're actually gonna flip it around. So this will be support for your neck, and then this portion of the blanket will be support for your head. Okay, now the fun begins. We're gonna get into this. So to get into this first posture, you'll want to sit on the bolster and have one of your hips to it. And then as you have one of your hips to it, you're going to lean down. So I'm going to start with my left hip to the bolster. You're going to lean down, kind of let your left arm, your left shoulder come down. And then my head is already somewhat supported on that blanket. You're just going to roll here around until you're on the bolster. The bolster is going to be right around here, your lower back, kind of sacrum region. And it should be comfy, cozy. So if it's not, you can adjust it. You want to be relatively towards the center of that bolster. And then we are going to here grab your second blanket. You can unfold it. And then you're going to bring the blanket here. You can bring 1 foot away from the wall and then pick the blanket up kind of with your foot. You're going to bring that blanket till you almost kind of have here the blanket draped over your legs, over your feet. So I've got relatively kind of longer edges on the side. My feet are in the blanket. Before we get here, the blanket fully set up on the legs, adjust the one that's on your neck. So you can unroll it. You can even kind of use this extra stuff and almost kind of fold it under to really support all the way around your neck and your head. And then with your blanket on your feet, you're gonna almost kind of tightly wrap up your legs. So one end of the blanket, you're gonna put it over the front of your thighs and almost kind of tuck it underneath you in that bolster. You can kind of tuck it around. And then same thing, other side. So like you were folding your legs here into the blanket. And then tuck that side. And then your feet, your heels can just rest on the wall. So if you're too far away from the wall, you can also kind of scooch forward. Again, we're aiming for the body, your body, to be fully supported. So if you need to adjust, make movements, wiggles, to really be fully supported, please do so at any time. Now those additional blocks, if you would like to incorporate them, will go on each side. And then your palms will be face down, resting onto those blocks. And take a moment just to allow your body to settle in. Briefly scan from your feet all the way up to the top of your head. Notice if there's any spaces that feel unsupported. There's areas of your body that you feel you're holding on. And if they aren't already, consider allowing your eyes to close. Let go in the moment of the sensory awareness of sight. And as you let go here of the sensory awareness of sight, you encourage other senses to heighten. For these next 30 to 40 seconds here, just fully notice your body. Not the outside, but what's taking place within. Briefly scan different points of contact of your body to the ground, to props. The longer you're here, little by little, allow those points of contact to almost feel as though they got heavier. It's not uncommon as we slow our bodies, as we fully relax, for our minds to almost kick into overdrive, our minds to want to perhaps think more. And again, this practice tonight is not about doing, just allowing your body. It's about being. And so observe your mind, your body with kindness. And let whatever you notice here, observe, just be information. Information you don't have to figure out now. You don't have to judge, worry about. Feel the natural rhythm, pace, depth of your breath. And with each exhale breath that you take, encourage your outer body to soften, allowing your inner body, your attention to be on the encouragement of ease. Keep this sense of ease in both your outer body and your mind. And for your next here, 5 rounds of breath, try to be fully aware and observant of your breath. There's no rush to get there. At the bottom of your 5th round of breath out, let's take a moment to pause. And wherever your body wants to, start to create just a little bit of movement. Let it be subtle. Let it be gentle. And just one by one here, if you incorporated the blocks or anything that you use as a block underneath your palms, you can move those for the time being out of the way. So I'm going to move them to my right side. You can move them either direction though. And just little by little begin to bend your knees. And you can just bend your knees here as much or as little feels comfortable in your body. And I know that's kind of sometimes hard to decide what feels comfortable. So know that if you bend too far and it feels like it puts additional kind of strain or pressure, it feels pinchy on the front of the hips, you can always just re-extend the legs a little bit, straighten them. But again, the idea of support in mind. So fully supported. Now same kind of shape here as you're set up with your blanket around your legs. You're on the bolster, but we're gonna here adjust. So if you have a bolster, if you have pillows, you want to adjust your hips. So you can actually, with your knees bent, push your feet into the wall, lift your pelvis up a little bit, and then scooch it towards here, the right side of your bolster or your pillows. And then you can kind of even move your upper body just a little bit to the right as well. So I'm off to the right side. We're going to come into a spinal twist. Now your blocks, grab them from the right side, bring them to the left. They're going to be as kind of a landing pad, be there as a landing pad for your knees. You can also here, if you would like, so I'm going to undo my blanket, kind of wrap around for a second. If you have hip discomfort, if you commonly like to sleep with a pillow between your knees, you can also grab here a block and place it between your knees. And then once again, kind of re-wrap up your legs like a burrito. Get cozy. The name of the game here in restorative yoga is to be comfy, be cozy. So if that means making adjustments that best support your body, please do so. And then just slow and controlled here. Arms can come a bit wider, almost like a just softly bent elbows, but a T shape with your arms. Flip your palms face up. And then just slowly here, let your knees fall to the left. So it's going to be different for everyone. If your knees don't get that far away from the ground, you may need to add additional props. You could place that here, second block, or anything you're using here as a block underneath your outer left thigh. If your knees come further down, you can let the block turn on its side. Let your knees rest to that block. Now, if the block feels unstable, sometimes I think they could get a little wobbly and unstable. Know that you could take something else. You could grab your blanket, that thicker blanket, place it underneath your knees. You could even place that blanket over your block. And try to use the wall as well as an additional support, so toes can kind of drop down until they feel a place of stability rather than your muscles trying to hold you in a position. The name of the game here is if you can find as much possible support so your body can fully settle. And if you would like here, gently close your eyes or bring your gaze to one non-moving focal point, whatever feels comfortable for you. And try to let go of the conscious effort to breathe. And instead, start with that brief body scan. As you're in this new position, just observe without judgment from your toes all the way up to the top of your head, each and every part of your body from head to toe. And make any here adjustments, any wiggles that fully allow you to find stability, find support. And sometimes that's less about all the props that we incorporate and more about this inner awareness. And an invitation to just encourage your body to find support. And that might be under one hand, you really feel it today. It might be under just one small portion of your body, but know that that subtle here idea of support, relaxation can go a long way. Bring your attention here to your natural breath. Unchanged, almost as if you were an outsider looking in. Just observe your breath, the length of it, the depth, the movement of your outer body. If it resonates in the moment, try to visualize with your next breath in this movement here of your inner body outward. So the expansion from deep within that extends outward. And as you exhale from your outer body, your skin, how that expansion once again moves back inward. And try to soften. Fully allow your inner body, your mind to relax. Without any urgency, just the Practice of being an active observer. Follow here your next 5 rounds of breath in and out. At the bottom of your 5th round of breath, there's no rush to get there. Start to, in your mind, just visualize the transition out of this posture with your knees coming back to center. And when you're ready, start to little by little add some movement. And gradually, with as much ease and support as possible, let your heels come back to the wall and let your feet just almost kind of slide against the wall until your knees come back to center. Pause for a moment if you'd like to straighten your legs. You can straighten your legs. Give the front of your hips just a little bit of space here. And then grab your block. Same thing, place it on the other side of you. So now we're going to lift up here. And pelvis, knees are going to bend. Your back of your pelvis here is going to lift up. We're going to move towards the other side of the bolster or your pillows. Kind of almost shift everything over. Reposition the block here in between your knees if you have it there. And then here, wrap your legs up. Tuck the sides of your blanket here underneath you. Let your legs and that wrap almost be kind of tight, like it's hugging your legs. And then slowly, mindfully on your exhale, let your feet slide across the wall, knees fall to the right. And that block here can be almost a landing pad for your knees. You can place it to whatever height you would like. Again, with the idea in mind of complete ease for your body. So if that means on this side, letting the block be higher, incorporating additional props, let this side of your body have its own experience, and it might look and feel very different than the last. Briefly scan your entire body here. Notice any areas that might be holding on. So often our body is asked to always be prepared, to always be going, doing. And this practice of restorative yoga is an opportunity to give back to your body. Allow your body to be restful. Allow there to be ease within your body. And ultimately here, trying to support your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest, digest. Soften here the muscles that surround your eyes, space between your eyebrows, and a subtle space between your top and bottom teeth. Try to relax and soften your jaw. for your next 5 rounds of breath. Each breath in, try to feel and observe that expansion from your inner body outward. And as you exhale, allow your outer body to soften. Everything just kind of naturally falling towards the ground. Try not to force your breath, but again, you're just an observer of your breath. There's no rush to get there. At the bottom of your 5th round of breath out. Before moving, once again, just think about that transition out of the posture. Next exhale breath that you take, slowly, mindfully, start to let your feet press into the wall or let your feet just glide across the wall until your knees come back to center. Now just for a visual here, I'm going to unwrap the blanket and I'll let you notice this next posture. We're not going to hold it quite as long. However, if it feels good for you, you're welcome to hold it longer. So my legs are going to straighten here. I'm still with that blanket around my feet. Know that you can always ditch the blanket as well. But I'm going to let here I'm going to actually take this off just for a better visual. So I'm going to let here my ankles cross, and then I'm going to slowly here let my feet come to the wall. I'm just going to bend my knees, and then my heels can keep dropping down as long as it feels comfortable in the front of my hips. It feels comfortable here within kind of your groin area, the front of your pelvis. Now, if you are closer to the wall, this is going to be quite a bit more bent across the front of the hips, so you can always scooch away from the wall. If you're further away from the wall, you're going to get a little bit more opening across the front of your pelvis. Now, sides of your blanket, again, you can kind of wrap them around yourself. If you would like to grab that additional thick blanket here, place that across the front of your pelvis. You can even unfold it, place it across the front of your knees as well. Just again, thinking of additional weight with these props, helping to support a sense of ease within your body. And we're not going to be in this posture quite as long, but again, if you're practicing on your own, you can take as much time. Make sure underneath you here, if your low back is arched in any way, it's not uncomfortable. You could always slide another blanket underneath you if you just rolled it up and almost created a cylinder with it. You could also, if there's a lot of space, you could place here something similar to a block underneath you, but make sure that it's comfortable. Make sure it's not pushing into you or creating discomfort. With as much ease as possible, follow your next 5 rounds of breath. Feel the temperature of the air as it draws in through your nose. And the temperature of the air as it exits. At the bottom of your 5th round of breath out. There's no rush to get there. One by one here, you're going to remove some of the props we set up. So that blanket, if you placed it on the front of your body, you can Just one by one, fold it and then place it outside of your space. The blanket that was around your legs, you can just remove that from your legs. Place it outside of your space. And then whatever here, so our hips are closer towards the left side, but we're gonna roll to the right. So make any adjustments that you need. If there's enough room between you and the wall that you can place your feet down, you can always kind of push into your feet, lift your pelvis, and then just make your way towards your outer right hip. If you're closer to the wall, you can even kind of push into the wall. So again, just still encouraging here that calming of our nervous system as we roll to one side. So there's ease here, pause as you're resting on your side. Find as much support as you can for your head. And then once you are ready here, move anything out of the way. And you can kind of just roll completely off of that bolster. Come up to stand onto your knees, or you can here right away just walk towards your mat and come to seated on your mat. So our last and final posture we will set up will be a supported bridge pose. So your here blanket that you had underneath your head, same kind of idea. Place it now to one end of your mat. And you can roll it up, the rolled up portion being support for your neck. And your bolster here can be just in the front of you, or your pillows can be just in front of you for the time being. We're going to grab here your second blanket, your one that's the same size as the one that's up at the top of your mat. And you can just unfold it fully and then fold it in half once. And then fold it in half once again just to create some working room. So we're going to get up here out of the way. Your bolster is going to be placed the width of your mat. So we're setting up again for a supported here bridge pose. So I'm actually just going to come to seated on the bolster. This second blanket here is going to be just underneath my feet. And you want it, actually I'm pulling it a little too close. You want it somewhat away from you, not fully away. It's going to be a support for your heels if you would like to extend your legs at any point. Otherwise, once you get down, you can always bring it closer to you. This last blanket, just let it be nearby within arm's width distance. And then a block on each side of you, just in case you want them. Some of the restorative yoga is just strategically setting up your props, so you don't have to get up to get them. Okay, once you are ready here, you're just going to mindfully, you can place your hands behind you, try to roll on down, try to not here fall down, just go slow, support your body along the way. Now your third blanket, unfold it. And that can go on top of you. Before you move that though, the bolster, adjust the placement of it. So I personally like a little bit of my low back supported, but it's going to be different for everyone. So if you want to kind of adjust your bolster lower so it's more on your seat, if you want to bring it higher so it's almost fully supporting your low back, which personally I enjoy, you are welcome to do that. Play around a little bit. Give yourself with each posture, the first here, I would say, need a good amount of time to really settle in and to find what's comfortable. The beauty of it is that you're not stuck wherever you're at. So if at any point you want to adjust things, you want to kind of position yourself, you are welcome to do so. So knees can be bent, or as we are there, you can alternate straightening one leg, straightening both legs. This final posture we're going to be in for less time than our legs up the wall, and then our spinal twist. So try to find what's most comfortable for you. If you keep your knees bent, that third blanket, after you unfold it, you can almost kind of wrap it up like we did here with the blanket against the wall. So I am just hugging my butt knees in towards my chest to get the blanket fully around my legs. You can even kind of throw it over your toes. Your toes are fully in it. And then you want to just tightly here kind of wrap and place that blanket underneath you. So almost like your legs had a sense of support. The part of the blanket underneath your toes, you can kind of pull it in towards your body so it gets that sense of tight here. So as I kind of wrap that blanket tight around my legs, my knees can kind of fall open and there's some support. There's some structure to it rather than just kind of falling towards the ground. And then the blanket that's at your head here, you can fold it under. I personally like to almost create just like a center space where my head kind of falls into, and then the outer sides are folded under, really supporting, creating a little bit of elevation for your head. And then last but not least, these blocks, once again, on each side of you, palms can rest onto them, so wrist and palms can just rest face down, backs of your arms fully supported, backs of your shoulders fully supported. And if it's comfortable, allow your eyes to close. And let go of the conscious effort to breathe. Trust that the process will happen without question. Your body knows what to do. And in this moment, you're encouraging your mind to fully trust. Trust the wisdom that is deep within you. Please know you are welcome to stay in this shape, to come out of this, move into something that really allows your body to settle, to soften for as long as you would like. If you're ready to start to transition back to your day, follow here without any urgency the next 5 rounds of breath. With each exhale, try to allow your shoulders to soften further away from your ears, jaw to relax, muscles that surround your face, your eyes to relax. At the bottom of your 5th round of breath, there is no rush to get there. Start to think about, before actively moving, the transition up to seated. Notice any response that your body makes as you think about transitioning, and try to keep this idea of ease and just the trust that you'll get there when you get there. And one by one, as you are ready here, remove any props out from underneath your palms, your hands and arms. Allow your knees to bend enough for your heels to come, ankles to come underneath your knees. Push into your feet. And just with as much ease as possible, slide any props out from underneath you. Take a moment, let your spine be fully connected to the ground, and just let your knees sway a few times. Still paying attention to your breath. And the next time that your knees here sway to the right, let your entire body roll to the right. And pause, resting on your right side. Take a moment to just feel how your body is feeling in this moment. And to know that this practice of ease is something you can do anytime, anywhere, just by pausing, scanning your body, and observing. As you are ready here, push into the ground, lift yourself up to seated. Your eyes can stay open or closed. You can face any direction you would like. You can keep the blanket on your legs, or you could take it off. Once you come to seated, let your palms stack one on top of the other, the front of your heart space. And just ever so gently press your hands, your palms into that space, acknowledging your heart. Sending love and kindness to yourself, to your body. And in gratitude for your body, if you would like, fold forward to sealing your practice. Thank you so much for taking some time to pause, rest, and reset with me. I hope to see you again soon.